Aerodynamics, arguably the most innovative roller coaster manufacturer of all time. They were in charge of creating the first steel tubular track, the first hypercoaster, and even the first fourth dimension roller coaster. I could go on forever on how innovative they are. But Aero's story sadly ended in 2002. Shortly after building X, now X2, they went bankrupt, forcing them to go out of business forever. Nowadays, there are only 66 roller coasters built by them still in operation, and most of them are widely regarded as being rough and boring. There are a few exceptions to that, like Magnum XL 200 and X2, but even those are controversial and polarizing. The numbers are fading, and Aero is slowly falling into the abyss of completely extinct roller coaster manufacturers. Someday soon, the time will come when all Aero coasters become defunct, and Aero as we know it will be no more. So, when do I think they could completely go extinct? Let's dive in. The first factor we should probably think about is small parks. Parks like Frontier City and The Great Escape don't have many coasters, and their Aero coasters are typically the most talked about rides at each park. So, if we're talking about parks like that with not many roller coasters but do have an Aero, then I don't see them removing them in a while, unless a larger corporation, or just a corporation that owns but doesn't care for the park, starts to take care of their property. Then maybe we could see those smaller type parks remove the Aero they could possibly have and replace it with something better. The next factor I want to bring in is historical significance. I already touched on this point earlier in this video, but it's still something I want to bring up and elaborate on. Aerodynamics was in charge of creating the best and most innovative roller coasters of their time, and most theme parks wouldn't go removing their first-of-the-kind roller coasters like it's a field day. The day X2 closes, that's the day that the enthusiasts will go crazy. However, these coaster days are dwindling as the years go by, and they can't last forever. The last factor that I'll be bringing up before my final prediction as to when Aero could go extinct is reception. Back then, Aero was the hottest manufacturer on the market. There was no other manufacturer that could even come close to it. Just think of it as the Harry Styles and Taylor Swift of roller coasters. But nowadays, most people agree on the fact that their roller coasters are rough, boring, and too painful, at least for the average rider to enjoy. It surprises a lot of GP when someone tells them that a 200-foot tall roller coaster at Cedar Point only gets a 25-minute wait on average, at least when I've been. People just think it's way too painful. There are some great roller coasters built by Aero, and I love Magnum, but it's just not for everyone, just like most of their coasters. They're great coasters for beginners. Heck, my first roller coaster was Iron Dragon, an Aero suspended coaster at Cedar Point. But there's no denying that any Aero coaster is 100% glass smooth, and I wouldn't blame someone if they didn't like their coasters. So, it's time for my final prediction. When could we see the last Aerodynamics roller coaster close for good? I know for a fact I'm going to be wrong with this, but judging by the arguments that I brought up during this video, I'm going to bring up a range of when this could happen. It may happen later than we all think, or maybe earlier. For my final prediction, I could see the last Aerodynamics ride close during the 2060s. We need to take into account that there may be relocations, and that some parks may be reluctant to close them. So, from 2060 to 2070, I think that we could see the last Aero coaster in operation close. This event would mark the end of an era in the coaster world, and it would be a very sad day to see. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.